Hello, everyone. I begin with respectful greetings to all who uphold the rule of law worldwide. Today, I share the somber task of exposing the systematic genocide under the Erdogan regime. This is not a conventional genocide, it's a meticulously planned and executed operation by high-level officials over 2 decades, aiming for total annihilation. As you listen, imagine this. You are a decision maker. A child comes to you and says, "My government burned my family in an oven. If I hadn't taken refuge with you, they would have burned me too." This child seeks asylum from you. What would your answer be in 1944? The Netherlands deported this child. He was thrown into a gas chamber and murdered. The genocidal system I am about to describe is more professional and insidious than what Hitler did in the 1940s. First, I will discuss a series of persecutions in Anatolia aimed at homogenization. Then, I will explain the persecution system under the Erdogan regime, part of this chain. Until experts provide a better name, I call this system of persecution Erdocide, short for Erdogan's genocide. My purpose from this presentation is to produce a behavioral change that adds value to humanity. For over a century in Anatolia, there has been a system of homogenization targeting Armenians, Greeks, Alevis, Kurds, journalists, politicians, business people, and democratic groups. This persecution aims to suppress societal will and is perpetuated by abusing democratic mechanisms with varying degrees of violence. This chain of oppression has always had public faces from different backgrounds, with the latest being Recep Tayyip Erdogan. On July 20, 2016, Erdogan replaced Turkey's constitutional order with a genocidal regime. His regime divides and oppresses society by inciting internal conflicts, enabling it to target every segment. This vicious circle continues without a commitment to uphold justice. Erdogan's regime, which uses the experiences gained from genocidal practices in human history, is carrying out a widespread and systematic attack on a mass of more than 2 million innocent Turkish citizens. This deliberate attack, with his professionalism that learns from the past, with his unique methods and tools he prefers, and with his combined system of persecution, constitutes a neo-modern crime of genocide. In the Rwandan genocide, citizens' private data obtained from state institutions was turned into genocide execution lists. The same method was done under the Erdogan regime. For example, with this genocide execution list, you'll see on the screen 2,745 judiciary people were deprived of their freedoms on 16th July 2016. This list was created in 2006 and included the data of their family members, even the ones who passed away. In other words, this list has been prepared for a genocidal attack since 2006. In other words, genocide executions are carried out on the basis of genealogical relations. For example, this list of 179 people on the screen is the list which I was detained. People are detained because they are married and related to each other. This person was subjected to genocide execution because Allah created him to be his father's son. This depicts two lines from the Photometer genocide crime tool behind Erdocide mechanism. It's an Excel spreadsheet similar to the Jewish gauges of the Nazis. and it is a tool of genocide that always produces genocide execution points based on the genealogical relationship. This practice of genocide is the most professionally implemented genocide component of the Erdogan regime. In this method, the Erdogan bureaucracy condemns innocent people to mass starvation by saying that they worshipped Allah, told about the life of the Prophet, read the Quran, provided material and moral assistance to needy people with religious or humanitarian motives, exercised their right to work in a legitimate company, and exercised their right to save their material assets in a bank in a legitimate way. While mass killings are carried out in historical genocides, in Erdocide, the targeted persons are precisely selected as a result of years of professional preparation and then destroyed in the form of perfect murder. In this perfect murder mechanism, instead of being killed physically and at once, individuals are tried to be gradually destroyed. Here, Erdocide uses the cumulative destructive consequences of the genocidal methods and tools unique to Erdocide. In Erdocide, people are thrown into a death row instead of crematoriums or gas chambers. The number of people who have been thrown into this death row for about 8 years is at least 2,200,000. The number of used genocidal execution methods and means that I have identified so far is at least 180. The atrocities in the Erdocide are not a result of any cause, nor is it a momentary resentment or revenge. We are all thinking about the preparation process. We are all talking about a preparation process that takes a minimum of 10 years and an enforcement process for about 8 years. In total, we are facing a genocide process of at least 18 years. Also, the promotion of the people who will carry out the genocide executions and their appointment to strategic positions, plus the purge of bureaucrats who might stand against the genocide, show that this neo-modern genocide was organized and prepared. The principles of Erdocide's implementation were agreed upon at a genocide workshop held at the Police Academy in September 2017. Please refer to the status of the participants of the genocide workshop. These participants determined the principles of genocide, and these principles have been applied in the judiciary and administration. The expressions they use are horrifying. For example, it is said that we are at war which will surely continue for a couple of generations. It was admitted on live television by a high-ranking bureaucrat that these, a couple of generations, are at least 2 generations. They are talking about depriving at least 500,000 citizens of their freedom in 2017. The only obstacle was the insufficient capacity of the prisons. Again, it was decided that no evidence of a crime would be sought for genocide executions. This workshop booklet was sent to all public institutions in Turkey and abroad. The inevitable result of this systematic genocide was the nesting of criminal actors within the state. Through this, we have witnessed that these principles have been applied to the letter in the genocide practices that have been carried out in the dependent and biased judiciary and administration. I would like to draw attention to the so-called deliberate attacks in the Rome Statute. These attacks are carried out with the intention of destroying the physical and spiritual existence of the targeted person. The leading from the attacks is hate speech. However, hate speech has now exceeded hate crime and turned into a bullet of genocide. This genocidal bullet forms a tool of attack in accordance with the principles set out in the Genocide Workshop. There have been widespread tortures, rapes, and attacks on civil and political rights. Actually, as a result of these attacks, rights were not violated, they were destroyed. Also, people were declared infidels. This practice may not be very important for the Western world, but in a society with high religious sensitivities, takfir is important in terms of making these genocidal attacks seem reasonable and legitimate. The Erdogan regime did just that, and even in the trials, it portrayed the genocidal practices as a war between Muslims and infidels. Again, the social assistance that a social state is obliged to provide to all the unemployed, the disabled, and the victims of natural disasters and their families was denied. And operations were carried out with the slander of financing terrorism against those who helped the children of targeted people. This happened over about 20 years and in 4 cyclic phases. Since 2006, profiling has been carried out at the first stage. 85 million citizens have been subjected to profiling by processing their private data and social environment information in all official and private institutions. At the second stage, the privileged groups who will not be subjected to genocide executions have been weeded out. At the third stage, stigmatization was done in the remainder. They have either been executed or are awaiting being executed. People who are stigmatized are also executed in turn. The level of violence used in these genocidal executions is of varying degrees. At the lowest level of this spectrum of violence is in the form of being sent to early retirement, isolated, mobbed, and a number of sanctions such as demotion. If the violence is to be increased slightly, the person is dismissed from the public service or social life. This person and his family are stigmatized as traitors, infidels, and terrorists within the scope of the genocidal system. Dismissals are often referred to as purges, but the severity of the persecution is not limited to dismissal. It is an execution. The cumulative result of the dismissal is the beginning of a series of sanctions that are more severe than the punishment that the person will be tried for. In the next level of violence, the target is detained, tortured, and arrested with lists prepared by the genocide bureaucracy. All such mass arbitrary restriction of freedoms is contrary to local and international law and defined as a crime against humanity in the Rome Statute. Thousands of innocent people have been unlawfully sentenced to life imprisonment. This amounts to a form of gradual extermination. Additionally, innocent people are not released when their legal release time comes. Moreover, when they get sick, their treatment is delayed and prevented. They are either made to die or to cause permanent damage to their bodies. There were also people who were assassinated. Genocide targets not only adults, but the unborn babies. Some unborn babies were murdered because of the torture inflicted on pregnant women by being called the child of the infidel in the womb. Since erdocide is a finely calculated, indirect, and professional method of genocide, there is no bloodshed in the murders in this method. Abusing the data such as genealogical relations, social relations, collegial relations, and workplace information, people are selected one by one and with precision for genocide. These people are taken to prisons, which are the 21st century version of the concentration camps of the Nazi era. All sources of income are dried up, and they are left hostage with their families in the country, unemployed, without shelter, hungry, and helpless. In line with Erdogan's no mercy instruction, and as a result of the principle of war that will last for a couple of generations, Erdogan's bureaucracy is trying to destroy people by creating an environment that will facilitate disease, death, and suicide with a mass psychological destruction that will include their descendants. Especially in prisons, under absolute state control, genocide bureaucracy murder innocent people who are targeted, not because of a threat, by preventing them from receiving medical treatment. They call these practices a strategy of first detect, then destroy. As I said at the beginning, the most important product of this presentation is that it has led to a value-adding behavioral change in terms of combating genocide. Now we need to wake up, speak out against oppression, and fight to make the right prevail. In particular, people who have freed themselves from this persecution should explain to the official authorities in their asylum applications, to politicians, academics, journalists, and non-governmental institutions during their social contacts that there is a genocide system, not individual rights of violations. International mechanisms must be mobilized to prosecute Erdogan and his accomplices, to save Turkey and all humanity from new Hitlers. Thank you for your patience.